Welcome back, folks. This is Tommy, Help with Gadgets, and we've got a review of the T.W. Price Reyne. This is a knife that was loaned to me by a friend of mine. I will link his channel down in the description below. But he was nice enough to allow me to borrow this and to disassemble and clean it and carry it and use it. And for that, I am very appreciative. And this has actually been a very good knife. I do have a few quibbles with it, but for the most part, not too bad. It's got some pretty good opening methods. Well, it's got basically one opening method, the flipper. It is possible to reverse flick it. There we go. But it's not something that's easy to do, so I wouldn't, if you get it, and at least for me, it's not a great reverse flick knife. However, the flipper action is awesome. It fires very easily, light switch method or push button method, and it's really nice. You can see there's a lot of nice milling on this knife, a lot of chamfering, just a lot of angles there. A nice folder that looks good, but isn't as functional as it could be. A very nice pocket clip, very nice back spacer. It just has a good look overall to it. After I completed the video, I realized that I had forgot to actually show the dimensions of the knife as well as weighing it. So back in here to take care of that oversight. The blade is about 3.5 inches, thereabouts, maybe a little bit more depending on where you might measure to from the tip of the blade to the scales. Overall length is just a hair over 8 inches, so that gives you some further measurements there. I'm sure you could probably have looked it up, but since I do try to do that, I figured I might come back and do that. All right, as far as the weight on this one, we're looking at about 4.6 ounces, so not too bad. There is a lot of pockets milled inside of the scale there, and you can kind of sort of see that there. Inside the scales to provide for a little lightening, but wanted to break in with that and actually show some measurements. Now we shall return to the rest of the review. All right, let's go ahead and get some size comparisons out of the way. Let's start out with the Kaiser Militao. Let's move that one up just a hair. That's the Kaiser Militao. And then this is the Berg Blades Sweeney. Alright, there's two pretty good comparisons there. Let's get those out of the way, and let's see what's up next. Let's do the American Blade Works Model 1. And then also the Arnaud Bernard Imamba. There you go for those. Let's get those out of the way. Let's do a couple of smaller knives. This is the Petrified Fish Mini Beluga. And this is the Keennison Basset Hound. So the Reyne is a bit longer than both of those. Let's do the Migueron Morial, and let's do the Demco 8020 Shark Cub. Two pretty good knives there. Next up, let's do the Asher Knives Spiro Warncliffe, and let's do the Concept Shard. All right. Next up, let's go with a couple of budget blades. This is the Eutectic EFD, that's Everyday Field Duty. And then the Eutectic Binary, Eutectic Binary. And both of these are great budget offerings. All right, next up we have the North Arm Sky and the Kubi Tidius. Those are some pretty good knives as well. Let's go with the Null Raikou. That's another one that is on loan to me from the same gentleman, and the Kaiser Sparrow. So you get a couple of titanium knives to compare to there. And then let's go with the Vosteed Hedgehog and the Kaiser October. Two somewhat similar knives to each other, not to the Reyne. All right, and then last and certainly not least, well, let's bring out another one that I didn't have on the table there, but was in my pocket. The Microtech MSI, and let's pull out the CJRB Feldspar. All right, and then last, and certainly not least, the QSP Penguin and the Kaiser Cyberblade. And as you can tell, the TW Price Reyne is longer than the Kaiser Cyberblade. All right. Let's look at some thickness of some of the knives. This is not a what I would consider a really thin knife. It does feel good in hand. The Null Knives Raikou is a little bit thinner than that. Let's look at the Kaiser October. And if you look at those are somewhat similar on their thickness. All right, let's look at the QSP Penguin. Put those up head to head so you can kind of compare the thickness there. Let's look at the Kaiser Sparrow. There you go there. And let's see, what else do I want to look at? The Kaiser Militaw. So it's kind of actually the Militaw may be a little bit thicker than the TW Price Reyne. Let's look at the Miguron Morial, and the Miguron is pretty thick, so I think it's actually a little bit thicker than the Reyne. And what do we have? We'll compare it to the Shark Cub, and you can see the Shark Cub is a good bit thinner. That's a pretty thin knife. So there you are. Have some thickness comparisons there. It doesn't have too much of a profile this way. You can see compared to the Sky or to the QSP Penguin. We can also look at knives such as the Asher Sparrow or the Eutectic EFD. So there you go on those as well. So some comparisons of the of how it looks closed, the kind of the profile there. All right, the blade steel on this, and I think, well, I'm not going to say because I don't remember. I'll actually flash that up on the screen right here, and to tell you what the blade steel is. I think I know what it is, but I am not positive, and don't want to say because I might be wrong. But I'll flash it up on the screen there. But this does have a kind of a good stonewash kind of. You can tell a little bit there if I get it at a certain angle. There is a little bit of choke up point there on the blade. It is very nice. I have actually opened some packages with it. Centering is great. Again, the action on that flipper is awesome. It does not have a lanyard hole, so if that's something that's a must for you, you may want to pass on this one. Let's look at the jimping. There's some jimping there along the top. If you're choked up on the blade like this, it's pretty much in the perfect spot. If you're holding back here, again, your thumb kind of falls into that the shape of the blade there. So that jimping is really good. There is some a bit of milling there on the back spacer, but I don't know that I would necessarily call that jimping. The lock bar does have some jimping on it that makes for very easy access to that lock bar. There's also some scalloping on this side that helps to make it really easy to get your thumb in there to disengage the lock bar. I can occasionally manage to not mess up with the reverse flick there. But as mentioned, there's the reverse flick and the regular flipper. There's jimping on this flipper that works extremely well. It does appear to be a little aggressive there, but it is not overly so, and provides good traction to get the blade moving. So D10 on this one is I'd say pretty much dialed in perfectly. It opens with authority. I don't know. It would be very difficult to fail this one. It just works really well. The OEM did a very good job on the D10 there. Of course, the scale material is the titanium, that milled titanium with a very cool pattern milled in there. Very, very plain pivot, but it looks very nice. Kind of a raised center there, and it catches the light as you turn it, so it kind of gives a neat look to it. This side is very very plain as well. And then you've got, of course, the pop of color with the Damascus clip and back spacer. So all in all, really like this knife. It fits well in hand. It is very comfortable to use. The jimping is, to me, is just right. The only thing that I would prefer to have seen on this knife, I think, would be for this fuller to have a little easier access. My hands are fairly slender, I guess you would say, and I can get in there, but some other folks may have a bit more issue getting a finger jammed into that fuller to get it open. So again, very nice design, and I think this would be on the list of knives that I would definitely recommend. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have seen something from this video that has helped you out in your knife journey. Hope you would hit that like button down there if you found this interesting. Subscribe if you hadn't done so, and you enjoy the content. Leave a comment, and I will try to answer as soon as possible. Appreciate you watching. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks.